And we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wine Wednesdays. I am Shauna Roche, and this is my good friend, Shelly Anderson. Thank you for joining me today, Shelly, for wine and our casual conversation.
Thank you for having me. It's weird to be on this side.
I know, because you do a lot of interviews, so this is awesome. And I just wanted to say, for those of you who are watching live, say hi so we can say hi back. If you're on the replay, give me hashtag replay so I can reach out to you. And if you're coming from the Powerhouse Women Group, Women Empowering Women, just click on the StreamYard link above, and it'll give us permission to see who you are when you're commenting. So thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here today, Shelly.
Thank you. I will say, Shauna, for you and only for you, am I here with a glass of wine at 4 o'clock my time on a Wednesday, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 6
and
o'clock here.
Thankfully, I remembered and raced to the liquor store so I could have something for you. So this is like, Dan was like, where are you going? And I'm like, the liquor store. So, yeah. And I will say,
Cheers. I'm honored you did that. I think that's just so cool.
So the funny story with that is last night I was telling Dan, I'm like, okay, so today I have to do a Wine Wednesday interview. And he's like, what? A Wine Wednesday? And I was like, yeah. He was like, ooh, that's fun. So then we were like, okay, so we're going to do a Mojito Monday. We're going to do a Tequila Tuesday. And then we struggled with Thursday and Friday and Saturday, because then it was like, well, you can do a sangria Sunday, because that's, so it's like, ooh, we need to come up with some other, that you totally started like a fun little, we had some fun last night trying to figure that one out.
I love it. I know, isn't it? It's funny because I started Wine Wednesday a couple of years ago, and I would kind of do it for a few months and then fade off. And then everybody was like, oh, you should bring Wine Wednesday back. And then I do it for a few months and fade off. But I thought, you know what? It is kind of fun just to have a glass of wine, have a casual conversation. I did get my wine backdrop.
I love it. You have the best backdrops. I'm always like, oh, those are so fun. Yeah.
So this is awesome. Let's talk about who you are, what you do. Let's introduce you to everybody. I laugh. Conversations with Shauna during the day. It's like I have this bio I read and everything, but I'm like, yeah, it's Casual Wine Wednesday. So who are you, Shelly?
Okay, so who am I? So I'm a Canadian girl, originally from Red Deer, Alberta. I've traveled and lived a few places throughout Canada, and I now live in Alaska. I am a mother of two. I have a soon-to-be 23-year-old that lives in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And then my 19-year-old recently moved down to Arizona. And so I was the stay-at-home mom who raised those two boys while their dad was working in the oil field. And there came a point in our life where our marriage didn't work out anymore. And I was like, see you later. So I had been living in the US since 2006. And I hadn't worked and was there on his work visa and all those fun things. And so all of a sudden I was being put out into the workforce. And basically like in my 40s, starting out like I was 18 years old. So the universe provided for me. I ended up getting a job working for a sheet metal company in their office and stuff like that. And I started out just doing their payroll and invoicing. From there, I ended up proving myself with the company and basically was, running the company for the most part, like a lot of aspects of it. Anyways, and then last year, the gel came into my life, and so did Joy Kingsborough. And she kind of opened me up to something before. She actually opened me up to the gel before it actually ever came into my life. So She's part of my story of ever discovering the gel. And then this year I took a huge leap of faith, and I now currently just living life, sharing the stories of the gel and all the amazing stories that are there, connecting with people. And usually I'm on the other side doing the interviews now. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me, I guess.
Love it. I love it. So now that you brought it up a couple times, let's talk about the gel, because I want to know more about this gel. I've heard a couple of your interviews, so let's talk about that.
Okay, so the gel, it's a transdermal homeopathic gel, and it has a trace amount of HGH in it, which is somatropin, and then it has glandular to support your adrenals and your thyroid, and then it has herbal medicinal plants in it, and they're the leaf, and so basically it's like, you know how Joy talks about, everybody talks about numbers with the threes and stuff like that. They're calling the gel the Holy Trinity of these three components put together, are basically restoring our body and optimizing our bodies, and just whatever your body is needing the most, that's where the gel goes first. And then over time, the longer you're on it, the more it optimizes your health. And so the stories are really vast as far as who it's helping. Like, we're talking from extremes of, you know, somebody with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, any kind of brain injuries, anything like that. Anybody that's, you know, got high blood pressure, diabetics, pretty much anything, it's helping to some level. There isn't. And then for people who, like, let's say already live a healthy lifestyle, like for myself personally, my experience with it was, I mean, I live a pretty healthy lifestyle. I'm not perfect by any means. But overall, I live a pretty healthy lifestyle. And so I didn't get on it for myself. I actually got on it for Dan, because he had sciatica nerve issues and things like that. And I was like, well, if I get on it, and I'm like, hey, baby, then I'll be able to talk him into it, because I basically spent an entire afternoon. What happened was I was on Facebook, and I'm a review junkie. I'll confess, I can spend a little too much time reading reviews. And there was a post on Facebook one afternoon that was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And somebody within the gel company had commented on it, trying to help somebody out. And for some reason, there was a negative comment. Well, that drew me right to it. Like, I was like, why would somebody be so negative? Like, this person was helping you out. I don't understand. Like, my brain just can't figure that out. Yeah. So I clicked on it, and I went through like an entire afternoon of reading testimonies, getting to listen to interviews. And so here's the crazy thing with all of that is, we have testimonial pages, but you have to be invited to them to see these testimonies. It's a private group, right? But for some reason that afternoon, I was led down the path that just brought interview after interview after interview after testimony to me. And it, like, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden a light bulb goes off, because Joy had brought this in my awareness like a month before and told me to not go looking for it. So the light bulb goes off that I'm like, oh my goodness, I think this is what she's talking about. Because it was, as I was listening to interviews, I'm like, oh, I could help this person, and I could help that person, and I could help this person. And then, so anyway, so I found the Diamond Ambassador I wanted. I loved his story. I loved his family life. He just had that energy that drew me in. I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I want to sign up as a distributor. And he's like, well, do you need any information? I said, no, I have watched enough interviews this afternoon. I'm good. Like I've looked it up. I've researched it. Like, no, I am comfortable with putting it in my body. Let's go. So anyways, I spent a couple months, and so my first experiences with it were very quickly my sleep improved. I didn't know I had issues with sleep. I was like, oh, this is what deep sleep means. Okay. And then like dreams, like vivid dreams in the beginning. Now I sleep so deep that like I have to be woken up out of my sleep to be able to remember a dream. I'm like, but like I have a memory of a dream in the beginning where we were like around a forest, around our campfire in the backyard, and there was this bear hanging out with us having a beer. And I got up in the morning to tell Dan about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this bear sat with us. We were having a beer. It was such a good time. And he looked at me and he's like, are you sure you want to be on the gel? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, this is really cool. So as time went on, I noticed like very quickly with my energy. So I struggle because like before I got into the whole office world, I was outside all the time. I was working in my yard. I was always outdoors doing things.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm sitting in front of a computer every day, all day long. And in the afternoons, I would get tired. Like I was like, I couldn't, and coffee, caffeine, nothing was helping me. Like I have my coffee in the morning just because I love to have a cup of coffee in the morning for the comfort of it, but I'm not a caffeine drinker overall. So anyways, what I found with the gel is I no longer have any crashes. Like I have consistent energy all day long. Wow. And then something else that I used to always deal with was I would have kinks in my neck. Like I'd turn my neck and you'd hear the bones cracking and cracking and cracking. And I no longer experience any of that. It's all gone. And I used to have an issue with my hip flexor where I had pain in my hip flexor. That's entirely gone. I would say probably one of my things that I didn't even connect to, didn't realize, was the hormonal stuff, because this helps balance all of your hormones. So for me, as soon as I hit 30, I started getting adult acne. And I used to, like, I grew up with flawless skin, but when I hit 30, I mean, it was bad. It was deep ones that hurt so bad, and they left scars on my face. It was a mess. And then there was a time that I used a certain product. I'm not going to throw out names so I used a product that helped with that. But every month I would still get, before my period, like a week before, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I would get a pimple somewhere that was like painful. And you knew it was like, oh, your period's coming. Like it's on its way. Yeah. And so what I've noticed with the gel is I never have pimples anymore at all. Like I have no breakouts, no nothing. And all of the scarring on my face is gone. Like I can go, I put like a layer of makeup on just because because when you're on camera and stuff like that, it's a thing, right? But I can go out at this point very confidently and not worry about it. And I did have melasma, which is hormone related. And that is entirely gone. Like there's no more melasma on my face. And I was like every summer I would dread that it was getting to be summer, because as I was exposed to the sun more, it would get darker and darker, and you'd layer more makeup on and layer more makeup on. And it was just there, and there was nothing you could do about it. So, and then I've also noticed like the fine lines, like I don't have the same texture to my skin. Oh, and so I live in Alaska, and I mean, Canadians will know this too, right? Like our skin gets really dry in the wintertime. Yeah. And I've always been someone who like laps on the lotions, it does all the things. You literally do not have to wear, I do not have everybody's different. So let's just be, everybody's experience is different, but I don't have to put lotion on anymore. Like I don't have dry skin.
Now you have me intrigued because there's a few.
So,
And my friend Crystal is just saying, here's a good friend of mine, Crystal. She's like, I love the gel. Just started using it. Okay, so now you've got me intrigued, and you can keep going because I want to know how you use it as well. Because now you've said things for me that I'm like the sleep, the hormones, and now it's like the dry skin. I'm like, okay, tell me more.
okay.
Is it something topical?
Girlfriend, let's just do the gel. This is
Okay.
Now here's the thing. It's 4 o'clock. This might keep me up. Like this might keep me up a little later. But so what you do is it's just a gel. Let's see. How am I? Okay, here we go. It's a gel. Yeah. I'm only putting 1 pump on because this, if I put it on too late in the day, Sean, it'll keep me awake. Oh. So I'm just gonna put 1 pump on for you. And all you're doing is rubbing it. Okay, you're just rubbing it into your veins. It's transdermal, it goes straight into your bloodstream immediately. It only lasts for 4 to 5 hours. So that's what's so fabulous about homeopathy is it's a trace amount. You're not you can't overdose on it. And it's not like vitamins where you're only getting a tiny, yeah. Crystal was so awesome because she messaged me like the first day and she's like, I've been up since 4 a.m. This stuff is awesome. So yeah, I love it. And it's so funny because like we have people, she has a story about her dog and she'd asked if she could use it for her dog. And I was like, yes, I mean, I don't know why not, right? But so we actually have people that use it for their dog. So I was like, I'm going to start trying it for my dog too. So anyway, so like with the gel, you get up in the morning, you have your shower, and you just rub it in. And then midday, yay, Crystal, I'm so excited for you. So excited. Midday, then you can put on, a second dose of it. So like, perfect example. So the other day we had our mind shift class with Joy, and it was like an hour and a half long. So here's what happens with my body. Sometimes when I take her classes, it's so much information that my body wants to like shut down and absorb what's going on, right? And there's been times where I will go off video and I'll fall asleep, right? Like I can't stop it, but I really want to take every piece of mind shift to the very depths of my soul. So when it started to happen, I turned off the video and I was like, oh no, this is not happening today. And I gelled up like instantly and I was good the entire rest of the class and I didn't miss anything. So that was like, okay. So I always have one in my bathroom and then I have one at my desk so that I don't forget to do it midday. Because the thing is you can't overdose on it. And so what they say is to do it for 5 days on and 2 days off, because you're actually signaling your body to reproduce its own HGH. Instead of like replacing, right? You're signaling your body. So it's just that little trace amount. So other things, it's so funny because I was watching somebody else's interview the other day. And I'll actually be interviewing him here real soon. He's a former NFL player. Anyways, he was talking about how he doesn't bruise anymore. And I was like, oh my, like, or as much. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's part of my story. I totally forgot that because I used to bruise so bad. And now it's like, if you do bruise, it heals a lot quicker. And then also, I used to have like little white spots all over my nails. Yeah. I don't have any white spots anywhere.
Oh, wow.
None. Wow. And my nails are really hard. Right now I have no nail polish on or anything. There's nothing on them. But I have to keep them shorter because I wear contacts and I don't operate well with long nails. So I keep them, like I have them length, but not, but that's something else with the gel for me, is that I have nails and they're hard. So I've never experienced that before. I've always had like flimsy nails that would like, you could push and they would like go
Yeah.
fold over. They don't do this.
Oh, wow.
And then I was starting to have, I was, I was starting to have like a bald, I can't do StreamYard. I was starting to have like a little spot in my, there we go, in here that was
Yeah.
starting to get really thin. And
Yeah.
it was making me really self-conscious.
Yeah.
I don't have that anymore. My hair has like grown in and is thicker than what it is,
Yeah.
you know. And then I will say, like with other people in my family, you know, like there's in our homeopathic world, there's certain words we can say, there's certain words we can't say. Like there's, you know, when I've been interviewing people, they have to be really careful about saying discomfort all the time,
Yeah.
right? And my man is like, I ain't taking it for discomfort. I am taking it for pain. Like he's like straight up, I am slathering it on my body to make sure that I'm not in pain. So but that's the world of, it's to protect the gel. It's like there's just certain things, you know,
Yeah.
you just have to be really careful that, you know, we absolutely do not claim to heal, cure, anything. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's experience is different.
Yeah.
And they say that often those that are like in really good health, it takes them.
You hold on with it. Bernie, can you not do that right now, please? Thank you.
I'm like, thanks, Bernie. I'm going to get a drink.
Have a drink of wine. I'm in the living room, so
it's all good. Dan works in the garage, so we're good. Until Dylan comes home. But anyways, so yeah, it's a different experience for everybody. And they say that those that are like really healthy.
Sounds I love the application of it. Oh yeah, worse at taking pills. Sorry,
yes.
To click on the StreamYard link. But yeah, that's why I was asking if it was like a pill or if it was like topical or what exactly it was.
Okay, so let's just go there.
Let's go there. Let's go there. I'm really fascinated about this. And I love that Crystal's using the gel because I kept hearing this gel. And I'm like, okay, I just want to talk about that tonight.
Okay, so I used to struggle even taking the birth control pill back in the day. Like I am not a pill person. I have vitamins in my pantry, all of the things, but the gel's just so darn easy. And, you know, like I said, we claim absolutely nothing of any kind. I did interview Lori Garcia last week, who she had an experience and we're not claiming anything. I just want to be really clear on this. Absolutely nothing. Both of her parents were tested positive for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom was on the gel and her dad wasn't. Her mom had no symptoms and her dad ended up in the hospital. I'm not saying anything, but that's two different experiences with them being on the gel. And I haven't had the opportunity yet to interview, and needless to say, her dad is home now and he is on the gel and he is loading. And you know, she has her family on it and all those things. But we have a gentleman in our company who they actually created a new award for him. They had this whole body challenge because we do keto stuff too with Thomas DeLauer. So, but they had an award for him as being like the most inspirational story, something like that. I don't remember the exact award because I just posted this, but he is in his 80s. He's an author, Robert Hick. He's 85 now. A couple of years ago, he has quite the story. Okay. So, but he's had brain injuries. He's had a heart attack, things like that. And he was on hospice and they were sending him home basically to like, okay, finish out your life kind of deal. Miraculously, somehow he found the gel and he is now using the gel to actually build muscle at 85 years of age. It's so, oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's on my profile page. Like he's doing his bar pull-ups and things like that. But he went from being on hospice to now he can drive a car.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. It's like people who have had like were ready to go in for surgery for their wrists, for their knees, and they find the gel and then they don't need surgeries. You know, someone whose hormones were so out of balance, that's part of Lori's story. Her hormone was so out of balance that she was signed up ready to have a hysterectomy. And within a month of being on the gel, her hormones balanced out and she didn't need a hysterectomy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. That's like, I mean, there was Suzanne, she had a heavy metal rash that she had been living with for 4 years. She got on the gel. It's gone. Her husband, who was a retired firefighter, was living with, firefighters, their lungs are exposed to a whole lot of crap all the time, right? So he was experiencing pneumonia every year. He'd get it. And they said it was getting scary, where they're like, crap, how bad is it going to be this year? And taking more and more rounds of antibiotics. Yeah. Since he's been on the gel, he's never had pneumonia again.
Wow.
This is everybody's individual stories. We are not saying any, I'm not.
Well, I like
anything
said too, because obviously when you put it on and it goes to your body, so it's going to go to whatever I guess needs to be.
Whatever needs it. Yes.
So like I was just thinking, because you were saying Dan with his sciatic, so I was thinking of Bernie too, right? Because he has sciatic issues, and every now and then I have lower back pain from a former car accident when I was like 16. So that's really fascinating, because I'm like, okay, I'm really intrigued now.
So, and that is why I am passionately showing up, sharing the stories, because there's thousands of stories and they're so diverse. Like so many people with autoimmune diseases. I mean, all of our diseases start in our gut, right? Yeah. And so it's helping to restore your gut biome. And as that restores and gets better, then we've got people who have Lyme disease, all like, it's so vast. It's this last week, I got emotional. I was just like, because it's hard not to want to be like, you don't have to feel like crap. Like you don't. And people are so programmed with, they never question it. This is where my heart is. Like they never question a doctor with medications and things like that have all these scary warnings. And, if you take this, this, and this, and this, and like the list. So I spend my time in the mornings. When I'm getting ready in the morning, I'll often tap into Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
I don't want to harass Joy 24 hours a day. So I'll tap into Abraham Hicks if I'm like, okay, I need some, reminders kind of deal. Yeah. And it was the one morning, it just, every time, because I don't pay for commercial free. So in between, I would get these crazy commercials of this different drug and that different drug. And it was just, they were listing the warnings and the warnings. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because where my mind went with all of it is, I don't have to warn you about anything other than to cover our butts and say, check with your doctor first. But the only thing I have to say, with the gel, those that are pregnant or nursing or actively fighting cancer, those are the ones that can't be on the gel. Yeah. So, you've already got a crap ton of hormones going on in your body if you are pregnant or nursing. So you definitely don't need extra stuff messing with that. And then if you're actively fighting cancer, this is restoring stuff. So they don't, want you taking it. But we definitely, I have somebody lined up who we've had those that are, recovering from cancer and how it's optimized their life after that. And it's like I said, like I can't say it enough, but it's their own individual stories. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I need to be on it. Crystal's telling me. Someone else is asking her, how long has this been available?
so the gel, okay, the gel originally was created 18 years ago by our founder, 18 years ago. And he had created it only for his friends and stuff like that. It was, you know, it was very private and personal. And then it became public to everybody almost 3 years ago now. So it's registered with the FDA. It went through 7 years of testing with nothing, nobody reacted to it. Everything was fine. Now, what they do say is, so when you're taking the gel, you definitely want to drink a lot of water because you're number one, you're helping flush it through your body, but also there is a herb in it that helps to release toxins in your body. That's why our woman with the heavy metal rash, that was able to help release all of that out of her body. And so like I had a customer who was like, let's just give an example. I had a customer who was covered in tattoos, right? So tattooing is, you know, a metal. And so at first he was feeling nauseous. And I was like, drink that water, drink that water. It, you know, and then within a couple days, that all went away. And so everybody, like, different people are going to experience, like, I'm sensitive to it in that I can't take it at nighttime because it'll keep me awake. So that's the only thing. They have said that if somebody's like might be allergic to like aloe or something, someone's experienced that if they're allergic to aloe, because there is aloe in it and stuff like that. But there is a money back guarantee. Like there's a 60-day money back guarantee. So if for some reason people weren't, you know, had a reaction to it because of an allergy or something, then they can return it. Right away, we'd say, you know, don't waste your money if you're just going to try one bottle. Just don't do it. Like,
so it's got to be like
they say give it at least 3 months.
Okay.
Because some people will experience stuff right away and other people don't experience it for a while. But here's the thing, like the people that have been on it for a couple of years that I've interviewed, they're like, it keeps getting better, you know. And there's people who, because there is an herb in it that will help with your hair color and stuff like that. So there's people that are experiencing their hair color going back to their regular color. It's darkening because of the melatonin. You know, the science stuff, like I've got videos I can share with all of that. Like straight up, I'm not the doctor. I'm soaking it all in, but those are the experiences that people are having with it. So yeah, and then like I said, we've got the keto products that are out with Thomas DeLauer, and we've got Fortress, which is an immune boosting thing, but it's a pill for those that aren't worried on taking pills, but it's full of, you know, the herbal plants as well. But yeah, I love it, Crystal. She's just like, girl, I love you.
I know.
So, I know, it's so funny. I have one customer who, so here's my thing. This is my thing. If you're going to say yes to the gel, before you say yes to the gel, it's like, write everything down that you have concerns with, right? Because what happens is over time, you forget, like me. Because like I've had to watch other interviews to go, oh, wait, that's part of my story. I totally forgot about that. And like, it's great. It's great for people with anxiety. It helps a lot with that. It helps balance out moods. It helps, you know, there's a lot of people with PTSD that have seen great benefits with it. You know, we have a large panel of doctors, and we're talking doctors that are into epigenetics. They are, you know, brain doctors. They're doctors that, like, you know, we've got Dr. Rimka, who's like my total spiritual guru, Dr. Peterson, who I was lucky enough to interview. I mean, she's into, you know, our codes, everything. Like these doctors are advanced. They're not our old mainstream doctors that
I
we're
love
used to.
that. And I love that you're interviewing all these people. So we'll put a link here so people can go look at your page and see your interviews, because you've interviewed some pretty amazing people with stories. And I haven't caught all of it. I've just caught little bits here and there. And it was one of those things where I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, I have to go check this out. But
see, and I mean, that's all of us, right? Like we've all got things going on. And so, yeah, it's like, I have to like schedule a time to like, for you, like with your interviews, that's instead of Abraham Hicks, I'm like, okay, this morning I'm listening to you and Heather. This morning I'm listening to you and like, it's like, I got to get these in because I want to, you know, hear everybody's stories too. So yeah, it's like putting them in bits and pieces. So.
love it. Someone's asking, have you heard of
So, okay, like as far as prescription meds go, that is something we definitely say work with your doctor on. If you are on prescription meds in any way, shape, or form, you want to work with your doctor. Do people just get off meds right away? No. It's like anybody that shares their story, it's like a progression of decreasing medications and decreasing. And then it's like, okay, maybe they did get off of this one and maybe they did get off of that one. And like, you know, we have one diabetic who shared his story that, you know, he was able to lower his A1C quite a bit. So it's, but we always, like, if you have any health concerns, we always say, go to your doctor first, make sure, you know, but it is safe and effective. It's not going to mess with anything you've gotten. And here's the thing, like the people that I'm interviewing, you know, they're like, yeah, my doctor was already on it. Or my doctor's like, hey, what are you on? I want to, you know, so doctors, more and more doctors are getting on the same page with everybody. And then they're prescribing it to all of their patients as part of it. So like with Dr. Rimka, she was always she is a huge advocate of CBD oil. Like she uses that in her practice. That's part of her thing. But now she has put the gel as one of her top things for all of her patients, herself. Like, so right now we have our convention going on, and she shared her story on Monday, and it had me in tears because she had a story of with her son, there's some, you know, brain stuff that happened with him. And her being a brain doctor, she was like, how am I not figuring this out for my son? And so she was dealing with patients all day and then with her son at night and never getting any sleep. And her health was like going spiraling out of control.
Oh, wow.
And then the gel came along.
Yeah.
And so she, like, it has like completely optimized her life and taken care of what she had going on. And now it is part of her regimen for all of her patients. Like all, So that's just,
I love it. Oh my God, girl. Like, look at you go.
That's what I will say. It's
awesome.
fun. This is what lights me up. It is so much fun sharing the stories, connecting in with people, and just hopefully giving people like hope and the opportunity to, you know what? Because here's the thing, like I've heard so many people say, oh, my doctor's just like, you know, you just got to live with the pain. You just got to do this. And, you know, and then it's like, and then they have these pill containers that are like full of all these different medications to take and stuff like that. And I mean, our doctors over and over again on the panel are saying, as far as, you know, once you optimize your stomach, your, you know, your gut biome, all those things, it starts to show up in all the other aspects of your health. So that's what I would say.
Well, thank you so much.
Anybody that's curious, if you want to like Facebook friend me so you can, you know, see all the interviews coming up, or if you have any because I mean, I have all of them. So if something that I've said is piqued your interest, where you're like, hey, I'd like to hear that interview. I even did interview Dr. Peterson, which was it's a long one. It's like, but it was extremely informative with everything that is in the gel and what it's actually doing for your body overall. So that's
awesome. Cool. Yeah, well, what we'll do here is I'll put also in the comments afterwards how you guys can hook up with Shelly and contact her. And yeah, thank you so much. Like, this has been amazing. Like, I was like, okay, this is diamond. I want to know more about it.
I was like, because I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about today, right? Like, there's no script, no nothing. It's like, are we just, yeah, who knows what we're talking about?
I know. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for those of you watching live, and those of you on the replay. We'll put in the comments here how you can connect with Shelly. And thank you so much, my dear, for being here. This was wonderful. And thank everybody have a happy Wednesday. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.